Podcast. If you are here this morning, eager for solutions to help you really apply good practices, you're in the right place.
Coffee on the counter, calendar in view. Got a room full of futures and a plan that's tried and true. I've done the late nights, I felt the burnout. Now I choose what feeds me and still brings the best out. Sustainable teaching, I can lead and still be breathing. Strong and steady, I'm increasing. Sustainable teaching, that's in the rhythm of my freedom. This is how I start my day believing.
Hey everyone, good morning. Welcome back to Sustainable Teaching Podcast. I am sure I will have many a times where I tell you I love our guest, but this week, guys, I really love our guest. Do you mind introducing yourself?
Of course. Thank you, Rae. Thank you so much for having me. I'm genuinely excited to be here, especially because your audience is mainly educators. My name is Ipek Williamson. I'm a transformation strategist, leadership partner, and meditation teacher. And I work with high performers, leaders, and teams to optimize their time, energy, well-being so they can show up more grounded, focused, fulfilled. And a big part of my work is helping people regulate stress and return to themselves using simple science-supported tools like mindfulness, breath work, meditation, nervous system care. And I want to start by saying I deeply respect educators. Teaching is not only a job, it's emotional labor and it's leadership, it's presence. You're holding a room, shaping lives, and being on all day long. So when I think about sustainable teaching, I don't think only about lesson plans and classroom strategy. I think about the human nervous system because teachers are not machines delivering content. Teachers are people carrying a lot.
So true. Ipek, I have been connected to you for a few years. I want to say maybe 3 years now that we're entering into 2026. And you have made such an impression on my life. I love every conversation. I love the work you do. And if anybody's listening and they're hearing words like mindfulness and all these things, those concepts can either go one way or the other. Either it's, in my opinion, very like metaphoric and you're supposed to do it and there's no real way to do it with consistency, or there's really actionable practices that we can not only implement for ourselves and but our students as well. And Ipek is the best at making that happen. The moment I met her, she told me, my dream is that every single school starts with meditation. And I am committed to that mission, Ipek. I want that to happen for schools. You're doing amazing work. Your work has exponentially multiplied since we've last connected. I'm so excited to catch up with you. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. It's going to be such a great conversation.
Rae, it's always a big pleasure to be with you. And I'm so impressed that you remember my vision, my ultimate goal. And I today, if I may, I want to focus on something that I think will be really helpful for all educators who are listening to us. I chose to focus on sleep for one reason. If it's okay for you to talk about sleep a little bit, because most educators I know are not struggling because they don't care. They are struggling because they are tired. And one of the most underestimated truth is this: a teacher doesn't just teach. A teacher regulates the room. So an educator's influence in their classroom, not only through their words, but through their emotional steadiness, their tone, their capacity to respond rather than react. And when an educator is underslept, something shifts. Patience goes down, reactivity goes up, everything feels louder, small things start to feel big. So here is a reframe that I really love. Sleep is not a luxury. Sleep is professional nourishment. So, and then if we want to create sustainable teaching, we need sustainable recovery time, which includes sleep and rest, of course. So that's what I would like to focus on this podcast episode, if it's okay with you.
I love that. There is so much that we'll be able to dive into. And I know sleep, at least for me, I always feel like I could get more sleep, get better sleep. And any strategies to not only help us do that, but help us do that without the guilt of feeling like we should be doing something else is always
Yeah.
amazing for our educator community. Before we get too far into strategies, because I know we'll just have an abundance of strategies and challenges for our community here. Ipek, do you mind telling us a bit about this work? Why do you like it? How did you get into it? Tell us about your background in it.
Okay, so I was an executive assistant for over 20 years, and then a shift happened. Like all of a sudden, my life changed 180 degrees, and I found myself purposeless, without any identity, and I wasn't sure what I want to do next. And in time, with meditation, with turning to myself more and more, focusing on who I am, what I want to create in the world, what do I want my purpose to be, what is my ikigai in life. And it took me almost a year to find out what is my next stage in life. And it turned out to be teaching meditation, and also coaching came as a side benefit of it, because when you start to teach meditation and guide people to understand how they can work with themselves and get better at removing fear from their lives, removing burnout, then coaching comes as a like natural extension of it. So I started coaching in 2018, and since then, I don't know, I might have over 1,000 hours of coaching with hundreds of clients. But to me, the most powerful and most impactful thing I do is teaching through Insight Timer, having my live sessions on Fridays. Actually, anyone listening to this, you are welcome to join us on Insight Timer. It's free. Every Friday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, I have a 1.5 hour session on Insight Timer where I teach something, a topic that is near and dear to my heart, and then we meditate together and let them go to their days and weeks, and to explore more about themselves. It's such a beautiful experience. And meditation removed fear, as I said, from my system, Rae. I'm not afraid of anything in life. That is a great motivation to try things that might be not easy to work on, not easy to take a step toward. And when you don't have fear, the canvas is blank. You can create anything. So that's the long story short, or maybe it's still long, but that's how I came into meditation, teaching meditation and coaching.
It's so powerful to hear about somebody's journey in this work. And something I've loved is you introduced me to Insight Timer. I know I just told you my partner uses it as well, and it's perfect for teachers. If you are an educator listening, whether you have a classroom, maybe you're an administrator, a coach, a paraprofessional, it is perfect to use with students. Like Ipek said, it's free. There's so many resources on there. It's almost overwhelming. And I will say one of my favorite things is I love searching by the time I have. I don't know why, that just works with me so well. I can search up like 3 minutes, 30 seconds, 5 minutes, or I can search up an hour and a half, depending on how much time I have. That feature was the conversion for me. It was really, really helpful. Do you mind speaking to that a little bit? Because I know it goes along with your mission for schools to start with meditation. Many schools are like, that sounds great, but how? You literally know how. You've done this already.
Yes, and actually, as you said, it's so simple. Insight Timer is a free app, free, and there are thousands and thousands of meditations, as you said, from 30 seconds to 8 hours, and there are thousands of meditations for children for the appropriate ages, starting from 1 minute to 5, 6, 7, 8, 12 minutes. And if an educator goes to Insight Timer and picks a meditation for every day for their classroom, they can come up with one every single day, one different meditation every single day, because there are that many meditations there and they're all free. So I highly recommend educators to bring that to their classroom. They will see a huge difference in the calmness, the receiving of information, the learning curve to go higher with a day that starts with a short 3-minute meditation. Bullying, that helps with bullying. I mean, it changes the how children interact in the classroom. I mean, I invite them to try it for a month, and see what are the impacts they are seeing with their own eyes. So it's easy, it's free, it's just to try.
It's so
On
simple.
the other hand, yeah.
And I was going to say, for educators listening, it's perfect to do in the morning, because the chaos of students getting off the bus, that's a very stressful time for many students. As a teacher, sometimes we forget because we're in the classroom already when students arrive. So that is a great moment. I also love educators that are using it after lunch to reset. That transition is a great way. It's also a beautiful way to also transition out as they leave the classroom at the end of the day. So there's a lot of opportunities here to put it into routine. And we are talking about minimal time that you are going to give up, and it will enhance your instruction. 2 minutes on the front end is going to make that other 30-minute block so much more productive.
And you know what I would recommend, Rae? Maybe having a 3 to 5 minutes at the beginning of the day, and then like reminders, like boosting the meditative state per se. Like maybe 1 minute after lunch, and 1 minute before going home. That will be enough, because you're setting the tone with the morning practice. You see?
So good. We're going to get into more actionable work. I know Ipek even gave a little sneak peek that it might be related to sleep, but I wanted to make sure that Insight Timer not only came up, but you all understood that it is 100% free and so accessible to you. If you choose to use it for a month, I would love to hear how it goes. So we will also be sharing, of course, how to connect with the team and all of our guests on our podcast, so you can make sure to share your results. We'll be right back. This episode is brought to you by the Teachers Deserve It Blueprint, a done-for-you system for building a classroom that works without burnout. If you're tired of piecing it together on your own, this is your framework. See what's inside at teachersdeserveit.com. I think I've interviewed Ipek Williamson at least 4 or 5 times, and I still have learned from you every time we speak. And we have never spoken about sleep before. So I cannot wait to hear what comes to mind. But tell us a little bit more about why sleep is so important for educators.
You know, as I said at the beginning, it's all about energy and what kind of energy the teacher brings to the classroom. Because one person's energy can shift the whole room, right? And when the teacher is tired, when they are sleep deprived, when they are having difficulty to focus because they didn't get enough rest, then it amplifies and it is contagious. Energy is contagious. The energy we bring to the room sets the others for success or not success. I don't want to say failure, but I mean, not the greatest success there can happen, you see. So, and many people think sleep is either good or bad. We say, I slept well, I slept terribly, but I prefer a kinder and more practical frame. We don't need perfect sleep, we need better recovery. So I often say our goal is to reduce sleep friction and increase nervous system calm. What I mean about that, reducing sleep friction is removing the small things that make it harder to fall asleep, like late uh, caffeine intake in the day, uh, using the bright screens up until going to sleep, having heavy meals, or going to bed with a busy mind. And increasing nervous system calm is helping your body shift out of stress mode and into rest mode. So you're not tired, but wired when your head hits the pillow. So sleep is natural. We are just creating the conditions for it. And it's very important to pay attention to that.
I have to say, Ipek, I know you have a lot of strategies that will be free and allow our community to really test themselves and the good choices that they're making at the end of their day. But I just want to brag that I just bought new pillows from Amazon and I have never slept better the last 2 days. I didn't even know we were going to be talking about this, but who knew? And I know some of you are going to giggle in the comments about this, but who knew that a great pillow could make that big of a difference? I mean, I didn't feel like I needed new pillows. I'd find pillows. I got this 2 pack of pillows, and holy moly, I don't move all night. I'm just in sleep, in a deep sleep. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, well, you need to share that underneath the podcast, please. I would like to check them out. But that's, of course, that's very important. But the tools that I'm going to share are a little bit different kind of tools. The first one is that I think educators will appreciate is end of work signal. Many teachers leave school physically, but their nervous system stays at school. So we want to signal closure. And there's a simple ritual for that. When your day ends, wash your hands slowly with warm water. While doing that, take 3 slow breaths and say, today is complete. It sounds small, but it's powerful. It separates your workday from your evening, and it reduces the chance that you bring the classroom into bed with you. It's so simple, right? Washing
So
your hands from the day.
very simple, something that all of us have time to do. I love the ability for it to happen no matter where you are. I mean, there's so many, even if you were not sleeping in your own bed for some reason, you were visiting a friend. I mean, this is something that you can do regardless of where you're located and how busy the day is. That's great.
Yeah. And another thing that I find very helpful is, and it's called brain dump. I call it the 3 minute brain dump. Uh, Teachers carry dozens of open loops, right? And the brain hates open loops. So before bed, doing a 3-minute brain dump, not journaling, not deep writing, just making a list of what do I have in my mind right now, what my brain is holding, what can wait, what will I will do tomorrow. This writing them down tells your brain that, okay, now that I wrote them down, I know that I won't forget them, which allows you to calm down and don't worry about what if there's something that I'm thinking right now I might forget tomorrow. You see, it's so simple yet so effective.
This has been a practice that I have started to do really in 2026, towards the end of 2025. Being a part of Teachers Deserve It and having so many people that I'm talking to, having communication with, getting to do items, getting ideas. You're right. I sit at the end of the day and I'm reflective, but I'm also thinking, oh, I have to do that tomorrow, or oh, and at the moment you're like, well, I'll remember. I have to text Ipek tomorrow. Oh, I'll remember. But you're right. There is like a stress and an anxiety almost that comes from, well, what if I forget? And if I write it down, I know I'm not going to forget. It's on my to-do list. I'm going to see it right in the morning, and there's no problem there.
Yeah, absolutely. And one other thing is, and it's very related with what I do as a meditation teacher, NSDR, non-sleep deep rest. This is one of my favorite tools for teachers. Andrew Huberman, you might have heard of him. He coined this NSDR term. And Yoga Nidra is one of the ways to practice NSDR. And Yoga Nidra is a form of meditation that you do lying down. It doesn't have anything to do with regular yoga. This is a meditation practice, and like 10 minutes of Yoga Nidra equals 40 minutes of deep sleep. So, for example, whenever I didn't have a good sleep the night before, the next day in the morning, you still have some energy, so you get through the morning hours. But when it comes to the after lunch, especially, if I have time, I start to feel tired, I do a 20 minutes or so Yoga Nidra practice from Insight Timer. Of course, I have my own practices, but there are thousands of other teachers who have beautiful stuff there. So, and when I do that, I feel refreshed. I feel so much rested, and I can go back and work for many hours after that if I need to. But it is a really easy yet impactful tool. Non-sleep deep rest, and Yoga Nidra is one of the best options to implement that.
What I love about that recommendation is you already have the app, right? Insight Timer. Again, we've talked about it before on the podcast, even earlier in our conversation. It's free. You grab the app on the phone, and then when you need it, you pop it on. Takes a few minutes, maybe do it during a plan period or even during your lunch. You find a way to reignite that energy. I know, Ipek, for me, depending on how my schedule was with students, my slump is either like 11 o'clock or 2 o'clock. For some reason, those times like stick out as, oh, I'm trying to get through the day and I'm feeling the slump. That's a great opportunity to take on those moments. I love that.
Yeah. Okay. So now I want to share a few tips and tools about the sleep environment. You mentioned your pillow is so important, right?
Oh, I love it.
Yes, it is. And we don't need any perfection about what I will be sharing, but the basics for a better sleep. First of all, it's a cooler room. Room temperature. Bedroom temperature is so important. And if it's warmer, it interferes with sleep quality. So for the night hours, lowering the temperature a little bit makes a huge difference. Also, another thing is fresh air in the bedroom. So one of the things you can do, the best things you can do actually to improve your sleep is before going to bed, opening the window just for a few minutes, maybe even 1 minute if it's really cold. But even getting some fresh air in your bedroom, and also don't keep your bedroom door closed, because all night you sleep, you like uh, breathe the same air, it wakes you up. So that might be one of the reasons why sleep quality is not great. Maybe your room is too warm, maybe the air is not fresh, maybe the room door is closed. So pay attention to these things. These are very small things, but they make a huge difference.
Gosh, these are such wonderful small little tweaks that cost nothing, that allow you to enhance your sleep. I'm interested to see which small little strategy kind of hits home for what person, depending on your environment, where you live, how the temperature is outside, obviously some factors will change, but these are such beautiful reminders. For me, another one that I've adjusted recently, I'd love to hear your thoughts on, is just I forgot how important it is to really have it be so dark. I'm falling asleep so much better when I've recently eliminated light, which seems like such an obvious thing. Again, I'm sorry to be that person, but I just kind of redid my sleep environment truly recently. And I was like, oh my gosh, it makes such a big impact to make sure the room is actually really dark.
Mhm. Yes, absolutely. Actually, that was the next thing I was going to say. Because yes, any kind of light, of course, get through our eyelashes and get through our eyes, and it wakes us up. It's so important to have really dark environment. What I do is I use it, even though our bedroom is quite dark, I still use a mask, and also I use earplugs, because some people are very sensitive to noise. Some people want white noise, they like it, but some people don't, and it wakes them up. So just know yourself, know thyself, and act accordingly. Like if light is disturbing you, get a mask. If sounds are disturbing you, get earplugs. Well, I have been using a mask and earplugs for years now, and I don't think if I can sleep without them ever anymore. I love them.
It's so funny you say that. I love the mask I use as well. I even have the ones that's a little bit cushioned so it's not on my
Yeah.
eyes directly. And
Mhm.
guys,
Yeah.
it was like $6 on Amazon. We'll link it in our blog. These are great things, great reminders to link. And the best part about what you've shared, Ipek, is a lot of this is a little bit of an evening routine, none of which really takes that long. It's almost like a kind of a 2 minute, I'm going to open the window. I'm going to go brush my teeth, wash my hands. I'm going to close the window. I got my mask. I mean, there's a very, very short commitment for a really, really big impact. And I really value that about all the suggestions you always have every time we've spoken. These are simple, simple choices that we make for ourselves, right? It's truly for ourselves to be successful.
And you know what? Many of us know all these things already, but we need some reminders, right? From time to time, we remind ourselves. Uh, Two other things that I want to mention, like one book that I really, really love about sleep hygiene. It's by Matthew Walker, and it's called Why We Sleep. And it gives a strong overview of why sleep matters and what it affects. There's one thing I want to mention here is that teenagers, teachers, and parents of teenagers, look, their hormones are different. That's why they don't want to go to bed at night. They don't want to wake up early in the morning. And it's not their fault, it's their hormones. And Matthew Walker, in one of his podcasts, he mentioned that, he talks about it beautifully. And he says there has been survey or experiment they did with a school district, and they changed the starting times by 1.5 hours later than usual. And it turned out the success level of students, went way up. And not only that, the number of traffic accidents around schools went 30% down.
Wow.
Can you believe that?
What an important thing to impact. Holy cow.
Yes. Just
really
because they are not that, like, teenagers are not built to wake up early.
Mhm.
But we are asking them to accommodate it because the society asks for it. But actually, it's not their essence, unfortunately. So yeah, there's that. Another thing that I would like to highly recommend is, as I mentioned, Andrew Huberman. He did lots of studies about sleep too, and he has a great sleep toolkit episodes of his podcasts. He offers through himself and his guests on his podcast very practical protocols, especially around circadian rhythm and recovery. And also, if someone wants something very approachable, the Sleep Solution book by Dr. W. Chris Winter is another great source to maybe read and learn from.
So many amazing things here. Friends, don't forget that every podcast episode will be also published on our blog with links and resources, and also a free tool that we'll create based off this episode. Ipek, one of the things that I know our team is going to definitely make sure we do in the blog later today will be to link these resources, because whether you're looking for a book or the Insight Timer app or just a few quick things, it would be great to be able to bless our community with one quick spot you can go, pick and choose what things you want, and then make sure that you're sleeping better than ever as soon as this evening. This might be a Friday night ritual that you're starting later today. It would be very exciting for them. So Ipek, we're going to get into some questions from our community. I'm sure even more insight is going to come up. We'll be right back. Before we wrap up, if you're not subscribed to the Sustainable Teaching Substack, you're missing out. Every Friday, you'll get an episode plus a free download resource. Subscribe for free over at our Substack. And if you have any questions you want answered in a future episode, drop them over at teachersdeserveit.com by direct messaging the team or emailing Olivia at teachersdeserveit.com. We love the comments. We love seeing all of you in our community. And one of the things we really love is when you submit questions for us. Remember, you can do this a variety of ways. Get it to someone on the team. We'll make sure it gets to the pod. Ipek, we have 3 questions that we'll hopefully be able to get to today. And these are just people that have concerns that they're hoping for some brainstorm buddies on. I thought we could just tackle a few.
Sure.
That sounds great. First one here looks like it has to do with a second job. So talk about the best person to talk to about that. You and creating balance in life and healthy relationships. This will be good. It says, I work a second job to just make ends meet. By the weekend, I feel like I'm running on fumes. I know I need to take care of myself, but I literally cannot afford to. How do you teach sustainably when the pay isn't sustainable? Tough questions here.
It is tough, and I hear every word of it, and I'm sure it is the same for so many out there in the world. And it's hard to be sustainable, be impactful in a while you are giving so much and receiving so little in return. One thing I see is always sticking with what gives most joy, most sense of purpose to anyone. Because the more we do anything that puts us into a state of flow, and we all have something, at least one thing that helps us to feel that, sticking with that and spending a little bit time with that in that flow state as much as possible, because I see the main thing for human beings is raising our frequency, raising our vibrations. And it only can happen through the things that we do that give us joy, that put us in the state of flow. And it's like a vicious circle. The more we do that, the more we start to feel better. The more we start to feel better, the more we start to become better manifestors. We start to feel more motivated. It starts small and it starts slow, but as soon as we bring in a sense of momentum to the positive outlook that we create, because nobody will give that to us. It is
Right.
us who creates the perspective.
Mm.
And it comes with the attitude, with the positive attitude, with sticking what makes most sense, with sticking what makes us feel the most sense of purpose, and go from there. Because as I said, it grows from there, and then things start to fall into place unexpected ways. It sounds like what are you talking about? How is that possible? But it is, because I am the example of it. I am living that.
I love that insight. And I think there's a lot here to be able to unpack for anybody who's experiencing any sort of like burnout and stress. It always feels like you're playing catch up, like you're not going to get to the end of the tunnel. I think even some of the insight that you've been able to share in this episode so far about making your specific moments that you can rest as intentional as possible is going to have such a beautiful impact. The last thing I do want to mention, which I don't know how we would do this specifically for, it's not like we have a system for Teachers Deserve It, but one of the best things I did last year, outside of leaning on you, Ipek, honestly, when I was making a transition, I know we spoke a few times and that really made a big impact on me. The other thing was I trusted a third party to look at my finances, and it really did give me insight on how I can kind of make things work financially. And so if you're somebody working two jobs, you feel like you can't get over that financial hurdle, I think you have two different choices here, and they're both positive. One is making the moments you have as intentional as possible, and the other is maybe getting some financial support. Reach out to our team. I'd love to connect you with some free resources that, either I have or our team has to maybe help you
Mhm.
overcome some of those struggles. I mean, it was so interesting to me to have somebody look through my
Yeah.
financial status and give me just some ways to save money I never thought of.
Yeah, that's a great one, actually. I love that.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, another question here. This has to do with basic needs, it looks like. So this person writes in saying, I don't eat lunch. I barely drink water. I hold it all together throughout the day because there's just no time to even use the bathroom. I know it sounds small, but it's every single day and it's completely wearing me down. How do other teachers handle just getting the basics? Oh, that feels like a question perfect for this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yes. I mean, it's all about understanding that what you don't give yourself, you cannot give others meaningfully.
Yeah.
So it all starts with self-care, self-respect, self-love, self-compassion, self-kindness, everything self. Because yes, you can have a day without eating or drinking, but it becomes like when it is every day, that is not sustainable.
True.
Somewhere along the way, your body and your mind both will give up, will give away. So that's why it's important to take good care of ourselves and make time for self-care in terms of eating at the right time, drinking, like, because if you don't do that, and remember, every teacher, especially teachers, are being an example to their students, right?
True. Yeah.
I take good care of myself so that my students also learn to take care of themselves. So it is not a necessity only. It is a, like, it's a matter of sustaining yourself. Like, it's so aligned with the topic of this podcast. It's about sustainability. You can go so long without eating or drinking. Your body at some point will say, enough is enough. I can't take you further.
Yeah.
So it's so important to make time for yourself.
You know, I was speaking to an educator last week, truly, and I won't share all the details, but they truly got on the phone with me, and I was excited to speak to them. It was one of our first few conversations we'd had, and she just broke down in tears. Like, I think she sobbed almost our entire phone call. And no judgment, but I feel like she really needed the release because she was so overwhelmed. And some of the insight that I could share with her was so minimal, so simple, but because the stress was so overwhelming, it's hard to get out of it. And what I'd say to any educator that's writing in like this, feels this way, Ipek is 100% right. You will quit mid-year, you will leave this beautiful profession you were made for if we can't do this. And so make time for drinking water, grabbing snacks in your purse, all those things. And then it is okay, 100% okay, to go to your administration, who I'm assuming already knows you're struggling, because every leader that has a teacher feeling this way, first of all, knows who you are and doesn't want you to feel that way. I would set up a little bit of a schedule for 4 weeks, see how it goes, and say, I need 5 minutes to drink water and eat this granola bar. Can you cover my class during reading time from 12:32 to 12:37? Right? Like,
Yeah.
there is not a single principal, leader, or coach who cares about you that isn't going to find a way to some physical person, not to teach, not to take over your class. You need a break. You need a moment. I need to go to the bathroom. Can we figure out someone to cover my class so I can go to the bathroom at 1 o'clock? And it's not perfect, but it's a step in the right direction.
Absolutely. There is something that is important there, what you shared, Rae. It is being able to be okay with asking for help. Where we are not able to create what we need, it's okay to also going to an administrator, to someone who can support us and be able to say, hey, there is this situation and I really can use some help. And
Yes,
I don't
and I
see
love-
anyone who won't be ready to help.
No, absolutely. And sometimes when we go and ask for help and we can't be specific, there's so many choices. It's like, I don't even know which one would be helpful. The more specific you can get, where, I mean, it sounds silly, but where you can measure if it's working, where like a 1 o'clock bathroom break, as silly as that sounds, because who knows if you'll even need to go, but set it up. And then you can say, okay, I've done this for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. It is helping, or it's not helping and I need to switch it to 12:40. It's like, whatever it is.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's really good. Okay, we're going to go over on our time, but I feel like we have to go to this last question and then we'll wrap up here.
Okay.
For all of you
Okay.
listening, don't forget that we want you to connect with Ipek Williamson and all of the amazing things she's doing. So that will be coming up here after this question. This question says, I give everything to other people's kids all day. And when I come home, I feel like I have nothing left for my own. Mom guilt and teacher guilt are truly eating me alive. How do I balance being a good teacher and a good parent when both seem to require, like, taking everything out of me?
Well, it's a big dilemma, and I can understand where or he is coming from, but our family is our number one priority. Yes, our students are so precious, so beautiful, so amazing, but we need to be mindful of our energy and really, literally spare some energy for our family, for our own children. Nothing is permanent in life, but our family is. And especially if we are raising young kids and they are in the process of in their first 7 years, first 10 years, where everything is in the formation process, they need parents more than anything. So looking at our priorities from a more logical and rational perspective, and yes, being there and giving what we can to the utmost of our ability to our students, but making sure that our little ones at home are taken care of properly too.
It's almost like having like your fuel tank, and you're going to have like a mark that you're like, once my fuel gets this low, I have to save the rest for my family. So I have to figure out ways to, even as simply as communicate to whoever I'm with in a work environment, I don't have a lot left to give today. I know it sounds silly, but I don't have a lot left to give today. And then the solution, the next step to that is, so either can I deal with this at a future date, or can I give you just what I have? And, maybe that's enough. Or can I bring someone else in to help supplement, because you have to save the rest of that tank for when you get home. I can only imagine how hard that is for anyone feeling mom guilt, parent guilt, teacher guilt. I send you lots of love. It's very, very challenging.
Yes. Our the ones at home who depend on us 100% need our priority, and then everything else.
It's a great reminder. So important. And sometimes it's hard to hear, but extremely important. Stick with us as we wrap up our conversation here. I want to make sure you all connect with Ipek. Of course, download Insight Timer, again, completely free and a lifesaver for your classroom. Sustainable Teaching is brought to you by Teachers Deserve It, the professional development company built on one belief: teaching shouldn't cost you your weekends, your health, or your love for this work. Learn more at teachersdeserveit.com. If you go back to any episode where I have talked to Ipek Williams, you will know that I end every episode with just praising how much I love her and how great her insight is. So unfortunately, you're going to have to hear me again. Ipek, I am so honored that you came on the podcast. I truly think the world of you. And I know you may not even know this because I may not have communicated it well at all. But as I was going through a big transition over the last few years, you have been on my mind. You were a great influence on me early on, and I have kept you with me throughout this process. And I really appreciate your grace, your insight, your love. I just love how you talk. I could listen to you for hours, which I do on Insight Timer. So I just really appreciate you. Ipek, would you mind sharing how our community can get connected to you to either bring you into their world even further, but also learn from what you're doing with your other colleagues on Insight Timer?
Well, if I may, Ray, before that, first of all, I appreciate you back the same way. And I appreciate everything you do for educators, for students, for the next generations. It is so very important. You are doing a really important job out there. And supporting all the educators is so important. So thank you for that. But before I get to where to connect with me, may I give a couple of CTAs
Go
to
crazy.
our listeners? So
Yes, call
because
to
I want
actions, challenges for all of you. Let's do it.
Yes, I want to end with this. Educators are some of the most giving people in the world, and these three questions like proves that too. You give attention, patience, structure, care, and often you're doing that while depleted. So my message is simple: sleep is not selfish. Sleep is how you replenish what you give. And sustainable teaching starts the night before. And I'd love to offer a simple, actionable challenge to you, all the listeners, because implementation is everything. For the next 7 days, choose one of these two habits and commit to it consistently. Your first option is morning light reset. Within the first 60 minutes of waking up in the morning, either step outside for 5 to 10 minutes, maybe have your morning coffee like outside, or if the weather is not good enough to go walk outside, at least stand by the window and get the sunshine, even if it's behind the clouds. That is one simple thing to do within the 60 minutes of waking up, just getting some natural light and being in nature or being outside. Okay, just daylight, breathe, and a calm start. Your second option is the 3 minute close the day reset. And we talked about it, right? Before bed, set a timer for 3 minutes and write down one, what I'm carrying from today, what is still sitting in my mind and heart from today, like unfinished tasks, worries, or emotional residue, anything your nervous system hasn't been able to set down yet. The second question is, what can wait for later? The third question is, what I will handle tomorrow. Then close the notebook and say, today is complete. But don't do both at the same time. Pick one, make it easy, make it doable, because small changes done consistently create big change, especially when they support your nervous system. So, thank you again for having me. I love this conversation. And anyone who would like to connect with me, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Insight Timer, and at my website, ipekwilliamsoncoaching.com. So I'm open and happy to connect with anyone coming my way.
So fabulous. Friends, if you have any issues connecting with any guest on the pod, we can always connect them with you. So please feel free to reach out to anyone on our team. Ipek, this has been such a great conversation. I hate for it to end. Hopefully you'll come back soon on a future episode of the pod to share even more.
Sustainable teaching.